unity to the country. What message do you think will resonate with the voters there in Georgia, guys?
Well, you say, Steve, you mentioned a portion of voters feel like something was off. Right. Amongst Trump supporters, it's a massive portion. It's 85%. And so when he's speaking to that feeling that something wasn't right, and when you see Perdue and Loeffler both say we're going to object, these are people up for election whose finger are closest to the pulse of the electorate, who truly feel like the election was stolen. And it's the last chance to bring an audit or a debate at a forum that triggers even more conversation. Whether it overturns an election is a whole nother thing, but they certainly feel like that kind of debate is due in the Senate, Will.
You know, we were talking last night, Brian, sometimes Pete and I pretend to be friends on television, but we are friends sometimes off camera as well. We were having a steak last night talking about this, and this is how I feel. I think Americans, I think Republicans, conservatives can be forgiven for their skepticism, because whether or not an election was rigged, it certainly feels like society is rigged right now. From the complete squelching of dissent on college campuses, inside the media institutions, to being lied about the Hunter Biden story, to watching President Trump impeached, every step of the way watching President Trump undermine his legitimacy question, that when you deal with that for not just 4 years, but decades, you start to think, if not an election, the entire society is rigged against people who hold my values. And at some point, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian, you begin to understand that kind of skepticism.
Especially at the end when you're told, no, you can't question it. There will be no questioning at the end. The more you're told not to question, the more you're told not to challenge, the more people feel like, something's not right here.
You know, if you think about all the challenges to the election that's happened, remember Barbara Boxer and Congresswoman Tubbs last time. Remember John Kerry had a problem in 04, and in 2000, everybody weighed in on that. People always said George Bush was illegitimate, never accepted him. There's got to be a process from here on in to do something to analyze. If there's any nonpartisans out there, to take questions about state objections to a neutral party. Because, as you see, I think the most important thing is for people to trust in the election. I think both sides can agree on that. Steve, I'd like to take this opportunity to say goodbye, unless you have any final thoughts to Will.
It's not really goodbye, because we're going to see them throughout the program.
But do you want to say goodbye, Ainsley?
We'll see you soon.
I've enjoyed watching y'all's coverage. We know y'all have great personalities. It's been a lot of fun. I thought, speaking of, a lot of energy.